The crimson sun blazed mercilessly over the endless dunes of Varix Prime as the transport ship's engines faded into silence. Jake Morrison stood at the edge of the designated survival zone, wiping sweat from his brow as he surveyed the barren landscape. Around him, representatives from 12 different species prepared for the Galactic Survival Challenge, each equipped with nothing but basic clothing and their natural abilities. The rules were simple: survive 7 days in the harshest desert, on this side of the galaxy using only what nature provided. No tools, no technology, no outside assistance. The winner would earn their species a coveted seat on the Intergalactic Council's Resource Committee. Commander Vex of the Altarian Empire flexed his forearms confidently. His species had evolved, natural armor plating, and could survive weeks without water. The serpentine delegate from Nyx Prime, known as Scylla, possessed the ability to burrow deep underground where temperatures remained cool. Other contestants boasted similar evolutionary advantages: natural camouflage, enhanced metabolism, or built-in filtration systems. Then there was Jake, representing humanity. The other species had openly questioned Earth's choice. Humans possessed no specialized desert adaptations, no natural armor, no enhanced abilities. They were, by all accounts, the least qualified species present. The soft skin will not last 2 days, Vex announced to his companions, his translator rendering his clicking speech into standard galactic. Their species lacks any useful evolutionary traits. Scylla's forked tongue tasted the air dismissively. Humans are known for their stubbornness, nothing more. Watch as the desert claims another victim of their arrogance. Jake ignored their comments and began walking toward a depression between 2 large dunes. The observation drones followed at a respectful distance, broadcasting the challenge to billions of viewers across the galaxy. Most had tuned in expecting to witness humanity's inevitable failure, while the other contestants immediately sought shelter in caves or began conserving energy in whatever shade they could find. Jake did something unexpected. He started digging. Using his bare hands, he scooped sand from the depression, creating a shallow pit. The watching aliens exchanged confused glances. The human appeared to be making his situation worse by exerting energy in the blazing heat. Hour after hour, Jake continued his work. He gathered the excavated sand into neat piles, then began mixing it with small amounts of precious water from a natural spring he had located by following the faint trail of hardy desert plants. The other contestants watched in bewilderment as he formed the wet sand into rectangular shapes. "What is the human doing?" whispered Kayla, a crystalline being from the frozen moons of Epsilon. "He wastes water and energy on meaningless labor." By sunset of the first day, Jake had created dozens of uniform sand blocks. He arranged them carefully, in rows, allowing the desert heat to bake them solid. The other aliens had settled into their chosen hiding spots, confident that the human would collapse from exhaustion before morning. But Jake continued working through the night, using the cooler hours to his advantage. He gathered dried vegetation and animal droppings, materials the other species had dismissed as useless. By dawn, he had fashioned a simple mortar from clay-rich sand and organic matter. On the second day, while his competitors struggled with rising temperatures, Jake began construction. Block by block, he erected walls using his improvised mortar. The watching galaxy began to take notice as a structure took shape in the desert. "Impossible," Vex muttered, his confidence wavering as he watched from his cave shelter. "How does he possess such knowledge?" The structure grew steadily. Jake incorporated ventilation shafts, angled walls to deflect wind, and a collection system for the precious morning dew. By the third day, he had built a sophisticated shelter complete with cooling chambers and water storage. Commander Tala of the Observation Corps studied the feeds in amazement. The human demonstrates advanced engineering principles without any formal tools. How did their species develop such capabilities? Her aide consulted the human database. According to records, humans evolved on a world with diverse climates and limited natural defenses. They developed intelligence and adaptability as survival mechanisms. While the other contestants grew increasingly desperate, struggling against dehydration and heat exhaustion, Jake's shelter provided him with cool shade, collected water, and protection from sandstorms. He had even created a simple solar still to purify additional water. On the 5th day, a massive sandstorm struck the region. The alien contestants huddled in whatever natural shelter they could find, some suffering serious exposure. Jake's shelter stood firm against the howling winds, its design channeling the storm's fury safely around its walls. The galactic audience watched in stunned silence as the human emerged from the storm unharmed, his shelter intact. What had begun as entertainment became a lesson in human ingenuity. By the 7th day, the other contestants were exhausted and dehydrated. Several required emergency evacuation. Jake, however, appeared refreshed and confident. His improvised shelter had not only protected him, but provided a comfortable living space. When the judges arrived for final evaluation, they found Jake tending a small garden he had started using seeds from desert plants, having created an irrigation system from collected stormwater. "This is unprecedented," announced Judge Prime Keth. "In 700 years of survival challenges, no species has actually improved their environment." The victory ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. As Jake accepted humanity's seat on the Resource Committee, species that had dismissed humans as weak began requesting technology exchanges and alliance proposals. Commander Vex approached Jake after the ceremony. "Your species possesses abilities we failed to recognize. How did you know to build such structures?" Jake smiled, looking back at his sand brick shelter standing proudly against the desert backdrop. "Where I come from, we learned long ago that the strongest tool isn't the one you're born with. It's the one you create when you need it most." The desert challenge had ended, but humanity's reputation as the galaxy's most resourceful species had only just begun.